Hey guys, welcome back to the Girlfriends and Goals podcast YouTube channel. My name is Samaria and I'm joined by my best friend and co host Miosha. And today we are doing another Am I the A hole reaction video. The theme of this one is family inheritance, money stuff. So if you're interested in that, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let us know in the comments what you think about these scenarios.
All right, let's get into the first one. Am I the a-hole for thinking it's unfair my husband plans to give his money to his daughter who shared his parents' inheritance already? Hmm. Not in the US, they say.
She's pocket watching, but okay.
My husband Nate and I, both 50, have been married for 24 years with twin sons, 22. He got into an awful car accident a couple months ago. Though it was not seriously injured, he was shaken. He now often talks about how life is fleeting and how he should make sure to be prepared. Nate has two siblings, an older brother and a sister, Tina, 33. Tina is actually Nate's biological daughter. He had her in high school and his parents adopted her from birth. Her mother was never in the picture. The family all knows about this, including Tina herself. Tina and my family were cordial, but not close. Nate's parents passed within a year of each other almost a decade ago. They split all they had three ways for their three kids. 5 years ago, Nate's older brother decided to join a monastery. He left behind all of his worldly possessions to Tina and my sons, though my sons mostly got things of sentimental value, while Tina got more of monetary value. I think my in laws are all within their right to handle their money as they saw fit. My problem is Nate. Yesterday, Nate told me that he had a rough idea of how he would like his possessions taken care of. Basically, he would like to split all he has three ways: Tina and our two sons. We don't have a lot, but Nate has his parents' inheritance and he would like to give all of his children equally. I asked him how was that fair? Tina was adopted by his parents and already received her inheritance as their daughter. If his parents gave him and his brothers half and half, I would understand why he felt the need to provide Tina with something. As it is, Tina already took from his share of inheritance. Moreover, his brother also gave her money and valuables worth more than our sons received. Tina is also a dentist. She is in no way in need of financial help. Nate said at the end of the day, Tina is his biological daughter and it is only right that he left her something. I don't think we need to pile more money onto a capable woman with a good job who already has so much while our sons are still young and just starting out their careers. Am I the a-hole?
She is pocket watching so heavily. Okay. I understand her desire to make sure her sons are secure, and I understand her concern that, their security could be more or might be threatened by Tina getting a piece of everybody's pie. But it is giving hater a little bit. I can't lie. Because like she's mad that Tina was adopted and got the parents' money. She's mad the brother joined the monastery and gave a lot of money to Tina and not her sons. Like, I want to know what the relationship between her and Tina has been, because she mentioned that Tina isn't close to her family, but I feel like there's a story there and I need her to give a little more.
Yeah, and is this the first time that I guess Nate, the husband, has felt a need to look out for her as a parent would? Like in
Probably not.
24 years, this can't be the first time. Maybe it was the accident that sparked this need of,
Yeah.
hey, let me make sure everything is in order. But she knows that that's her dad. Like, what we need more information on the dynamics here.
Because she's talking about it like Tina's not a victim, but Tina also was raised without knowing her biological mother, so people probably feel bad about that. Like there are probably reasons why they want to look out for Tina. Maybe Tina's just a wonderful person that they all sincerely love, and maybe she's just favored that way. I don't know. The only thing I can agree with, or the only thing that I can see her point on is, okay, like make sure our boys are secure. if you want to give Tina a little bit, fine, give her something, but our boys are still young and I want to make sure their future is secure. Also, she probably feels some type of way that he didn't give her something. So I want to know,
Mm.
did he leave her completely out and say, okay, it's just the three kids? Or is it like you get a portion and then the rest of this stuff goes to the kids? Like, I don't know. I think she low key wants Tina's life. Like she,
Well, it sounds like she felt a way since the brother left his possessions, because she specifically said basically what the brother left the boys was not of much value.
yeah.
She got all the stuff that was worth money. And
Mhm.
so it seems like she's been feeling away. Um, I will say I could understand her maybe saying, I don't know if it needs to be split three ways, if that
Evenly.
means that the boys won't be as secure, because
Mhm.
it sounds like she is a bit older than them. They're 22, she's 33. So
Yeah.
she's well within her career. So I could understand the mom being like, "Oh, well, let's make sure that they're well set up because they are about a decade or so behind her. So if anything happens to us, we won't be here to ensure that they have the extra help." At the same time, who knows what Tina has been through to be in a dynamic where you're being raised
Your grandparents.
by your grandparents, and your dad was raised with you as a sibling.
And it doesn't seem like he's been close to Tina all this time because she's like, "Oh, my family isn't close." So, for example, if Tina were close to her biological dad, maybe there wouldn't be that type of concern because it's like, "Oh, well, we know that Auntie Tina is going to take care of our boys, like we can
She
trust
hasn't
her
been acting in that capacity.
because they're not close." So when
But it
she
also
says,
could be the age difference too, because she would have been 11.
but she's not close to her dad, it seems, and she's not close to her
Mm,
sibling
yeah.
nephews. So there, but why is she not close to them? If she was close enough to the other brother that he left, and maybe the accident is making the dad feel like, oh, I haven't really been there for Tina, so I need to step up and do something
And it sounds like the original poster may also feel a way like you've been on a certain energy up until now
for 20
in
whatever years.
regards to how we've been navigating this. Because imagine you're in her shoes. Okay, I know you have this child sibling, but it's not your child because they legally were adopted by the grandparents. So maybe she went into this under the mindset of, oh, okay, like I know about her, but she's your sibling, not your child, not your main responsibility. So
Mhm.
now that he's having this come to Jesus moment about his
Mhm.
responsibilities, she's like, whoa, you have not been on that energy up
For
until
24
now. But
years.
I will say that's within his right, I think, because that's his child. And I mean, who cares if it's 24 years later? I don't know.
You should have always known that that was a possibility.
That he was going to have to look out for her. Say something happened to the parents because they're grandparents. So then
Oh, I'm
who
glad
would
that
have been,
didn't happen.
yeah, he would have been responsible, I think, to a certain extent for her.
Yeah. Um, so I think she's a bit of an a-hole. I think there might be some jealousy there. And I think there's a new normal to give her grace, right? There's a new normal that she has to come to terms with.
Hmm.
I don't know that the way to do that is to ask us on the internet, but yeah, I feel for her in that she has to come to terms with a new reality, but she does need to stop pocket watching and yeah. She
That's
would
still his child at the end of the day. I
she met
mean,
Tina when Tina was 9 because they've been married for 24 years, so probably before she was even 9.
and I could understand even him not being as close with the baby, because
Mhm.
keep in mind, he would have been probably what, 16?
When he had Tina,
So this is a teen
17. Yeah, like
pregnancy.
50 and 33. Mm.
So I could imagine that he probably wasn't even raised in the house with her like that for a long period
Mm.
of time. So they were almost passing each other like, oh, he's starting his life as a young adult. and she's an
Really.
infant, so being
Mhm.
raised by his parents back wherever. So that part doesn't seem strange to me that they made. I
Okay.
mean, that's a pretty big age gap. Even though I do witness families where the siblings are close because it's like, oh, that's my little brother or sister, but
Yeah.
they're like the third parent, but that's actually his child.
Yeah, we have an age gap like that in my, immediate family, and
Yeah.
I don't yeah,
Yeah,
so
it happens.
I might vote that she's the a-hole. Are other people saying she's the a-hole, or is it just us?
I do think that she is a bit of the a-hole, but I
Yeah.
would say she's the a-hole, but I feel you, girl. Let's see. Is there any short replies? Some people saying she's not the a-hole. Someone's asking, why has your family never been close to Tina? This is your hub sister at a minimum and his bio daughter in reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you
It,
can't whatever she's inherited before has nothing to do with you. Like, you can't be like, "Oh, well, she gets this paycheck, and so we're not gonna give her the." I don't know. It feels like there's a story here we're not getting, girl, and we want it.
and then this is interesting. Someone calls out, they said, you're the a-hole. Your
Mhm.
husband's parents passed a decade ago. So when Tina was 23 and Nate, the husband, would have been 50.
40.
And or 40, I'm sorry, yeah, you're right. And even though Tina was just starting out and Nate was middle aged, your husband still got an equal share, which is exactly
Mm,
what you don't want your husband to do. Whoop.
okay. Next step with that. Wow, yeah, we didn't even think about that. 23, that's very I don't
Young. And then let me keep reading real quick. Okay. Back then, did you want your husband to disclaim his inheritance because Tina was young and he was established? I doubt it. Hell, I think it would have been fair for your husband to get no inheritance at all from his parents and for them to count raising his child as their inheritance to him.
period. She should
Well,
have gotten double the portion.
I mean, they definitely did take on raising your whole child.
Okay,
Mm,
while you were out here frolicking and getting married to Miss OP.
Well, y'all let us know what y'all think in the comments. I think she is being unreasonable.
A
Yeah,
bit.
that's still his child. His parents are passed, which are her parents have
Mhm.
passed, and your boys, it sound like will be taken care of, and maybe you'll feel more at ease once they're more settled into adulthood. And
Wait, the boys who she's worried about are the age Tina was when her parents died. Well, all
yeah,
right.
okay.
Moving right along. Uh, am I the a-hole for planning to leave my assets to my niece and not my nephews to even things out? I, 36 female, have a niece and two nephews, all in their teens. Their parents, my brother and sister in law, passed from an accident a year ago. They're currently staying with my widowed father, 71. I also have a sister, Maria, 43, who's married but childless. I have good relationships with all my niece and nephews, and they're all good kids. For background information, my family is very patriarchal. Women were expected to listen to and serve the men in the family. I grew up seeing my mother and Maria always bending over backwards to do everything to please my father and brother. We are comfortable financially, so they weren't forced to do back-breaking labor, but it was obvious they were second in importance to my father and brother. I was lucky that I was the baby of the family, and I was also good at studying. My academic awards brought pride to the family, so I was allowed to skip out on some expectations and obligations my mother and Maria had to do, as long as I maintained the good work. I got into a great school and am able to live my own life and have my own business. Recently, my father asked me and Maria to read over the will he was putting together. He explained that Maria and I already received our inheritance from our mother, nothing substantial, by the way, so he wants to leave most of his things to his grandkids. We don't have a family business, so my father has money, valuables like jewelry, and some real estate like land and buildings for rent. I noticed that my niece got very little compared to her brothers. It will be enough to get her comfortably through university, but not much else. I asked my father why such disparity, and he gave BS. about keeping things in the family, that my niece will be part of another family once she marries someone. I didn't say anything to my father because he can do what he wants with his money. However, I talked to Maria and told her I plan to provide extra money for my niece as a graduation gift, as well as giving her more than half of my assets in the will to even out the unfair treatment. My sister, however, called me an a hole for punishing our nephews when they did nothing wrong. Am I the a hole?
No,
I don't think so at all.
I don't think so. Yeah, so I'm gonna say no. You're not the a-hole. And what I found interesting is that you said that your dad said his reasoning for giving her less was because she was going to go be a part of another family. Now, I think that's under the assumption that she would even get married, wants to be married.
Right.
And so I don't think that that's fair. So yeah, I think it makes sense to kind of even it out if you have the ability to. And I think I would just say it's no one's business, like how everything is divided. I wouldn't go and tell her why or the reasoning. And then I wouldn't tell them like, oh, well, I observed that y'all are getting more. I would just give her a little bit of extra something and let it be. I don't think you're the a-hole at all. I think it's you wanted to make sure that all the grandkids are being looked out for
Equally. And girl, I
equally.
wouldn't have even told Maria because you have to know your sister and know what her likely response is. Maybe she needed somebody to vent to, but Maria's given the ops a little bit, so I would not have told her even. Um,
And
and
I'm
then,
not surprised by the sister's response either.
oh, me neither.
Because if you say like, "Oh, our family's very patriarchal," like that means men and women are buying into certain ideas, and
Mm,
unless you've heard or observed her say certain things, just assume that she's probably of the same mindset as your dad.
absolutely. And honestly, I think a lot of times women keep other women under the patriarchy. Like
Mm,
they're like it's almost like they're the men give the orders, right? And then the
mhm,
women keep other women in check by
mhm,
saying stuff like the men would say. Not saying that this is her family, but just an observation that I've seen
yeah,
before. But yeah, and then she's not just giving like all her money to the niece, right? She's giving her niece a graduation present and then she's giving her some of her portion of her dad's inheritance. So that way it seems like all the grandkids would be getting about the same thing from their granddad. So that
mhm,
the niece maybe doesn't feel the disparity from her
mm,
granddad. Like the aunts know there's a disparity there because they've talked to
mhm,
their father, but the grandkids don't have to know. In a way, she
mhm.
is actually protecting her dad's image with his grandchild and doing him a favor. So, yeah.
Yep, I'd agree. Yeah, not
That's
the a-hole,
a-hole.
and yeah, kudos to you for evening everything out. So.
Yeah, and looking out for and making sure that your niece doesn't grow up seeing the things that you have seen or experiencing the things that your sister and your mother had to experience.
And what's so crazy is as a woman, she's more likely to face, disparities in terms of education,
She should get more.
salary. She should
Yeah.
actually get more. But mm,
If we really gonna talk about it.
like she should be set up to make sure she's taken care of because I think in certain cultures there's a thing like especially back in the day, if you didn't have a husband, then how would you be looked out for? And
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, those are the two that we have for this topic. You guys let us know in the comments what you think, and we will see y'all on the next video. Bye.
Bye.